My fellow gamers, welcome back to the series where we analyze two pro players and decide who's better. But today, we're going to be doing things a bit differently, if you're cool with that. Instead of just two players, we're going to be analyzing a couple of duos and we're going to put them against each other. So the long-lasting partnership of FaZe Dubs and FaZe Mega versus the newly formed but still deadly Tfue and Scoped. Okay, so there are going to be 5 categories. You guys ready? We got mechanics, come on now, game sense, team play, the clutch factor, and competitive results. We're going to score each duo 1 to 10 Pro Guys points per section. We're going to tally things up, and at the end, we're going to see which pair comes out on top. Both these duos have such a mismatch, like of different skill types, so we thought it'd be interesting to compare them to each other. And with how well they've been doing so far lately, I have a feeling this matchup is going to be razor thin. Alright guys, so before the video begins, let us know your predictions on this matchup in the comments below. And also, if you're looking to improve, you can find tips and tricks on our channel. Go to ProGuys.com and you can find even more. So with the membership, you're gonna get exclusive access to a variety of courses handcrafted by pros, alright? Also, you can play with top players anytime, any day. A bit of coaching can go a long way in helping you guys improve, trust me. So be sure to like the video, alright? Subscribe to the channel, and then head on over to ProGuys.com to get started. What's going on, guys? It is your motivation guy. That's right, your friend, the one and only Keith Allen. I am back. So listen, before I even get started, I gotta pay homage. I gotta just do this for Kobe Bryant, man. This guy left such a legacy just in the world today. He's inspired me to be the man that I am today, to be able to motivate you. I've gotten that motivation from him, the Mamba mentality. So I just want to encourage you, man, to pick up the torch, to run with it, to encourage people, to be leaders, to be influencers, so we can change this world and leave a mark, man. One person at a time. I believe in you, all right? I do. Connect with me on my new Insta at Your Motivation Guy. Once again, at Your Motivation Guy. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. I need everybody to sit back, relax, and grab some of my favorite candy. Come on, y'all need to scream this out with me. It's that Bunch of Crunch. And let's get this going. The first category today, my friends, is mechanical skill. Which of our duos here is better at aiming, building, and editing, all right? Starting things off with Dubs and Mega, and wow, man, both of these players are absolute cracked out of their minds, bro. When it comes to building and editing, it's easy to see why this pair continues to dominate. Okay, so everything they do is just so quick, man. Even the more complicated maneuvers. Like seeing Dubs do the Mongrel Classic, yo, I promise you, man, sometimes I think he does it faster than Mongrel does himself. And it's great because they build and edit in a way that's also surprisingly efficient. Hardly any time gets wasted, right? Probably why they're such good W keyers. They can get it in, man, overpower the enemies, and then end the fight without a hitch. In terms of aiming, okay, obviously both Dubs and Mega are completely insane. You've got to be to compete at their level. And even though they're both excellent, I think the standout player right here is Dubs. At times, his aiming abilities are just unreal, bro. Remember how everyone thought he cheated way back in the day? Come on now. That's just how nuts his aim is. It seems almost robotic and not human-like, but it turns out that there's a real person behind all that skill. Now, Tfue and Scoped, okay, all things considered, neither of them are bad builders by any means, okay? They both can perform at a high level, no problem, right? However, okay, a couple of issues here. First, Tfue lacks the same speed that Dubs and Mega have, all right? Let's get that out of the way. He's more methodical, right, with his building, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, all right? Don't take it the wrong way. It even can be an advantage going slower. But his leisure building style does sometimes limit his overall capabilities. Second, okay, Scope's building is somewhat limited by playing on controller as well. It's not uncommon to see him whiff and edit or, have to slow down every now and then, but that's just one of the restrictions controllers players have. And when it comes to aiming, though both players are top tier, we've talked about Tfue's aim a lot, all right? He's an FPS veteran with years of PC gaming under his belt. If you can remember back to Season X, remember that? Tfue's favorite landing spot was Meteor. Why? Because he knows how to beam the heck out of players, that's why. Same thing with Scoped. His shooting mechanics are straight up, out of this world, all right? I'm sure the controller aim assist helps, but obviously, that only plays a small part. The rest is all Scope, my friends. So, all things considered, comparing overall building, editing, and aiming, okay, we're gonna be giving this round to Dubs and Mega. Their mix of skills is a bit better overall, all right? So they get 9 points. However, Tfue and Scoped, they're not really that far behind, so they're going to receive 8. All right, my friends, next category, let's look at game sense. You guys ready? Which of our duos does a better job at using their brains, not brawn, okay, to stay alive and win fights? So looking at Dubs and Mega, all right, I say most of their game knowledge really revolves around, the realm of combat. So when it comes to fighting, these guys are masters, man, at reading their opponents and responding appropriately. It's just part of the reason why they're so proficient at W King. Even if the enemy has an opening, they're gonna tend to predict it and prevent it from happening. Okay, for instance, check this out. If Dubs is attacking someone's wall, he's gonna position in an advantageous angle, right? Giving himself room to fall back and always stays ready for when players can potentially strike. And when it comes to trap usage, Mega has some of the best I've ever seen, all right? It's like he always knows when and where to place traps during combat. How does he do that? If you can remember back to the World Cup, all right, Mega used a single trap to eliminate both Mongrel and Mitro. They were getting pushed, and Mega saw there was no floor piece. So with some insanely quick thinking, he puts a trap down, blocks them off, and then they make quick work of one of the scariest duos at the event. For him to react so quickly, man, in such a high-pressure situation, come on now. That made that one of the best plays we ever saw that day. And on the other hand, all right, Tfue and Sculpt always seem to make exceptional decisions whenever we watch them play. Things like knowing the right time to disengage, or even where to rotate and when to take the high ground. Their combat knowledge is exceedingly vast as well. But what they really excel at is knowing how to win games through smart decisions. And sometimes that's just more important than relying on raw mechanics, right? Especially in high-end dual scrims. So, many fans see mechanical skill as Scope's strong suit, right? And while he's definitely not lacking in that category, I feel, personally, that most of us underestimate just how smart this dude plays. He's got the ability to find kills that we do not see in many other players. As if he's tracking enemy positions flawlessly in his head or something, right? I don't know how he does it. It just really boggles my mind. I don't get it. But it's definitely a huge contributor to his and Tfue's recent success. And overall, man, when it comes to game sense as a whole, okay, we think Tfue and Sculpt have a slight lead here. So we're gonna give them 8 points, and Dubs and Mega are receiving 7. All right, so next up is arguably the most crucial aspect to look at in a duo, all right? And that is, my friends, come on now, it's team play. How well does each pair here synergize, right? Communicate, and how well do they actually really play off one another, which is so important. Dubs and Mega have been playing together for a really long time, right? In terms of Fortnite partnerships, they've stuck together longer than 90% of duos out there. And, we think their long relationship has greatly boosted their chemistry, obviously, right? The more you play with someone, the more you're gonna play better with them. It's like they really don't even have to communicate anymore to know what's really going on. Their callouts are really undescriptive at times, yet they still roll over everybody, as if there's one brain controlling 2 players. And, in most fights they take, they approach in a near perfect fashion. They'll single out a target, they'll lock on, and then they'll pinch from opposite sides. I guess when you've done it hundreds of times, guys, there's really no hesitation and there's really no questions. They know precisely how to play it, man. Tfue and Sculpt, on the other hand, it's a little different. They've only been doing together for a little over a month now. Yet, their team play together ain't too shabby. They're not as coordinated as Dubs and Mega, I get it, and they rely a lot more, on back and forth communication. But that's expected, obviously, for newer duos, right? So it takes a while to build synergy, and they're just not entirely there yet. Their biggest weakness seems to be during the endgame where, in certain situations, they have different ideas on things like, where to rotate or when to look for kills. And it often ends up with one of the players dying and the other forced to clutch up. Now, this category is kind of unfair because I get it. Dubs and Mega have been doing this, 10 times longer than Tfue and Sculpt. Still, the latter pair isn't really that far behind, and we think, with just a little bit more time together, they'll have no problem catching up. So, in the end, Dubs and Mega get 9 points, and Tfue and Sculpt receive 7. All right, guys, next up, ladies and gentlemen, man, one of my favorite ones is the clutch factor. Do you have heart? Okay, so there's just something just so satisfying for me personally about watching pro players, reverse sticky situations, and in the end, they end up winning. Clutching takes incredible skill, guys, and really it takes mental endurance to really pull it off, especially when you're the last one alive in duos. So let's see who takes the cake on this one. Okay, so while Mega certainly has his moments, Dub stands out though, as the star clutcher on his team. I swear, guys, nearly every single time he's faced with a tough scenario against all the odds, he'll somehow pull through. And I just think it's his nerves of steel or something like that just really help him clutch so often. You gotta be mentally smart, you really do. He doesn't even seem to get anxious or even scared. He's like a robot. Like in this TwitchCon clip right here, and I mean like right here, he was the last one on his team alive with a bit over 10 players left, and he played it like perfectly. He rode that high ground into the end, and he peaked when he needed to. Then he made the smart decision to go for the heal off. Not many players are capable, guys, of like doing that in the heat of the moment. People freak out, people panic. I get it. I've been there a million times. And even when watching him as a solo, you think that the scenario is going to be unwinnable, right? But somehow, some way, he plays it by the book and he ends up clutching. Like from this World Cup game. Do you guys remember watching this one? All right, I'm not gonna lie. I thought this was the end for him. Going against an RBG on high ground is just so hard to beat. But no, look at this dude, man. Like once again, like he saw Riverson jump down, he made his move, took height, and he showed the world that he was the better pro. However, okay, we can't forget about Tfue and Scope though, right? Both of these guys are the clutch masters. Who agrees with that? So when we were watching Tfue play the Winter Royale live, he got this safe zone that couldn't be more against his favor. It was like the worst zone ever. But with smart decision making, Tfue took control of high ground and he held it for a long time. Scope even died partway through, and Tfue went up to pick 4 to even 5 kills by himself, as well as the W. Even though we've only been watching Scope for a really short while, he never ceases to surprise us with a clutch win, like every now and then. Even though he doesn't work with Tfue as well as Dubs and Mega do, at least it gives him more opportunity to show his individual prowess. So while Dubs and Mega are really not that far behind, we think that Tfue and Scoped have slightly more of a clutch potential here, right? So we're gonna give them 9 points, and the FaZe Clan duo are receiving 8. Which brings us, ladies and gentlemen, to our final category, competitive results. Because it's all about the results, bro. It really is. Obviously, I could just sit here and talk about who's better at what, but results at the end of the day, my friends, well, they speak for themselves. So let's take a peek at how our players have performed in tournaments. All right, so Dubs and Mega have reliable results going all the way back to the Skyward Cup. Seriously though, that was in March of last year, pretty much a century that has passed by compared to the average duo. Since then, they've qualified for the World Cup, all right? They've moved on to trios and squads. They played at TwitchCon, and most recently, the Winter Royale. They have a massive amount of earnings together, something Tfue and Scope honestly just can't really compete with. So we're gonna try not to hold it against the new duo, all right? Because obviously, they've only been together a fraction of the time Dubs and Mega have. I get it. So here's what we can do. Let's turn our attention to the most recent tournament, the Winter Royale. And man, what a surprise. Tfue and Scope managed to finish 9th place on day 1 and 16th on day 3. Their day 2 placement really wasn't that good. So I think it was entirely outside of the money, so not the best showing they've had, okay? But those other 2 days are pretty dang on good, especially when you compare it to Dubs and Mega. They weren't able to place inside of the top 20 on any of the days. However, they did play in more regions, all right? And in terms of overall consistency, they really weren't that far off. So, look, I get it. It's difficult to compare the two directly. Tfue and Scope showed insane potential together, even in their first event, while on the other hand, Dubs and Mega have a longer and more proven track record. All in all, my friends, all right, we're gonna give Dubs and Mega 8 points, while Tfue and Scoped, they picked up 7. All right, guys, so we've reached the final moments, but before we get into the results, I just want to say that both of these duels consist of exceedingly skilled players. It wasn't easy, it really wasn't, deciding on scores, but we just went with our initial instincts, all right? And in the end, Dubs and Mega total up to 41 points, while Tfue and Scope finish at 39, making Dubs and Mega the better duo by a tiny margin. It was so close, so close. You might disagree with this outcome, all right? I get it, all right? You're entitled to your own opinion. So please, if you do, let us know why in the comments, all right? All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, this is your motivation guy. That's right, your friend, the one and only Keith Allen. Make sure to connect with me at Your Motivation Guy. I believe in you guys. Keep going. Don't give up. Don't surrender. Have that Mamba mentality, man. Never quit, all right? Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to use code PROGUYS to support all of our work, and thanks a ton. Though, that's it for the comparison. We really hope you enjoyed watching these nutty players do their thing. And if you did, please give the video a like and drop a sub for more daily Fortnite content. And tell us who you want to see next. We'll probably go back, to comparing individual players, but who knows? We might continue with duos. You never know. All right, guys, we'll see you soon.